We are 16 games into the season here at BAIK in the second division of Sweden. We're still top of the league. We have just lost our last game, but before that, we've been on a nice long winning run. We've had the July window, which means a free transfer day did come. It has gone, of course. Obviously, it's still open for a certain period of time in Sweden, and free signings, free agents can be signed at any time. But I thought what I'm going to do first of all is show you who we've signed, and then I'm going to give you basically just a little bit of a sort of how-to tutorial, a bit of a breakdown on. Well, actually, I'll do that first. A bit of a breakdown on how I actually do sign these players. So one thing that I tend to do in Football Manager is sign players that are probably too good for the club that we're at. And sometimes it feels like we shouldn't be able to pull off the signings. However, there is a method to it and there is a method to the madness. So first of all, the first thing that I do when we get to free transfer day, which is July 1st, but whatever your transfer window is, wherever your managing is, in FM26, the first thing I do is go to the transfer room in and basically just set up a transfer requirement, not a loan, because loans obviously are not going to be free agents. Transfers count as free agents. So transfer requirement, and I just put every single position that we have in our tactic. Obviously, we don't have a number 10, so I don't put number 10 in. I don't have a DM, so I don't put a DM in. However, if you're quite flexible with your tactic, then I would just shot one on every single position, even positions that you wouldn't think, like left wing back, right attacking mid, right mid. If you've got, let's say, you play with a right back and a right attacking mid, still chuck on a right mid and a right wing back if you're desperate. So basically, just make a position for every single position there. I only do it for the ones in the tactic because I'm a little bit more rigid like that. So a goalkeeper, a back line, a centre mid, wingers, and a striker. And that's all I do. And then I go to the responses, whack it on top recommendation, and then just take a look. And obviously sometimes you'll come up with some decent players, other times it'll be totally useless. So that's method number one. Method number two is just basically whatever comes through on my player recommendation, so I'll just keep an eye on that. The other one is to go to the player database and to sort it by ability. Again, these are people who have been scouted. Another way, another method, I guess this would be method 4. So method 2, player recommendations, simple. Method 3, player database. Whack the transfer onto doubtful, and then edit the search and put the contract status as unattached, and then look at ability. So that's one way, that's method number 3. And the other way is to do method number 4, which is to just sort of by world reputation. And then anyone that you don't have scouted that is a little bit higher reputation than you would normally have at your club, just right click on them, go to transfer, offer trial, and just basically trial them for a week. If they say no, then that's fine. Chuck a scout report on them if you've got the money. Otherwise, just keep offering trials basically every half month. And that's the other thing, is this is the way that I tend to get players too good for me that don't show up on scout reports, because we are obviously a team in Sweden. We aren't a team with a lot of money. We don't have a big scouting network. So my reporting isn't the best. So what I would do is basically pick a nation you know really well. We're managing in Sweden. We obviously know there is limitations with who we can sign, things like that, the number of homegrown players. But what I do, because I know England very well, is this is the country I basically focus on. For every other country, I'll just go through and look through the big teams. So like Spain, I'll go through Barcelona, Real, Atletico. Germany, I'll go for like Dortmund, Bayern, Leverkusen. France, I'll go like PSG, Lyon, that sort of thing. But with England, what I do, first of all, is look through every big team. Then I basically just look through every single team. So if you go to the actual nation, in the bottom right, you'll have transfers. And then from there, the first thing I actually look at is youth departures. So I'll go to June and then basically just sort it by club. And then basically, if they come from a big club, so all the Arsenal ones, Villa, and I'll just go do Bournemouth. Probably skip that for the first round. I look at just the very, very big clubs. Then I sort of go down a tier. So I go, okay, Bournemouth, Brighton, Brentford, I'll skip all them. Chelsea, yep, they're on. I basically keep a count in my head to go, okay, that's 5 players that, let's say, I've offered trials to. You can only have 30 players on trials, so don't go around offering trials to like hundreds of players, because you're just going to get rejected, because you can't have more than 30. You're just going to get, it's not going to go through. So keep in mind, only offer 30 at a time. Obviously, keep in mind players, if you've already got, say, 5 on trial, then only go out and offer 25. Otherwise, some will just get cancelled, even though they didn't get rejected and you might miss out on them. So we're like Everton, yeah, that's fine, those 3, so that's 8. And then basically all you need to do is right click, trial, offer trial, and then go for a week. Obviously, none of these were any good, otherwise I would have signed them. But there you go. So that's basically what I do. And then after I've gone through all the youth departures, so you'll normally get through a couple of days of just youth departures. So I'll do this for all the big teams in England. Then I'll go through every big team in France, Germany, Italy, Spain, even like Russia and Greece and things like that, like just look for big clubs who've let youth players go because they're going to be relatively cheap. And there's oftentimes they're actually decent players with good potential, especially if you're at a lower league club. That's going to be where you make your best signings because they don't expect a big wage because they've got no reputation, they've got no experience in the game. But because you can see, you can look at their attributes, you can look at their your coach's rating. If you know they're a 3-star player with 5-star potential, if you can get them on the cheap, it's a great signing. So that's what I look at with youth departures. I basically don't sign anyone that isn't already first team ready. If you're at a big club where you've already got big facilities that are going to improve players, then you're probably not using this method anyway. This method is really more for lower league management, or for like Sweden, for example, taking a team from the 4th tier. We're in the 2nd tier now. We still don't have like loads and loads of money, and our scouting network isn't great. So this is a great system for those level of clubs. If we were a huge club, I would maybe not do the youth departures as much. But one thing I then do is go on release players, and this is going to be an even bigger list. This is every player that was released for every month. As you can see, Kane apparently went to Chelsea and retired. But yeah, basically you can do this every month, but obviously June is going to be when most contracts go out. If it's in July, they've either retired or been released. Not normally as good if they've just been released. As you can see, looking through it, I guess the only good players are really the ones who've retired. Everyone else probably not really worth looking at. You can always trial them. It doesn't hurt to trial them. It's free. But you can do that for every month, basically. But June is when obviously free transfers happen. Technically, it's July 1st, but it's June 30th the contracts expire, so it counts under the June month. So just look through, and then basically I do two methods. First of all, again, I'll go through every big club, and then basically I just hover over the player. Like, okay, I know David Raya. I know he's not going to join us. I don't know who this Harriman Unis is, so I'll take a look. If he's like a certain age, say 23 or under, I'll offer him a trial. Most of the time they say no. It depends on your reputation as a club. But there's oftentimes players will come in that are way too good for you, and you'll have a deal to sign them, and the only reason you didn't get them is someone else offered a deal. So that's a great way to pick them up. And then after that, really, it's just using your own knowledge. If you've got a good knowledge of the England game, you know a lot of players. Let's say if you're a football league supporter or a national league supporter, you probably know players from lower levels of England anyway. So what I do, for example, let's say because I'm a Hartlepool fan, I do know that level quite good. If I was looking for players who were good, League Two level players, I would look and go, okay, let's have a look through, see if I recognise anyone. Probably don't really. So this guy, Yoganathan, I know he's been at clubs in and around League Two, National League for the last few years. So if that was the sort of player that I was looking at, he'd be someone I'd be trialing. Now we haven't offered him a trial. I'm going to offer him a trial just to see now that I've noticed him again. But that would be the kind of player you'd be looking for. Whereas if you were like, okay, I'm looking for a championship level player, you can trial him, but it's unlikely he's going to make the cut. So you're probably looking for bigger names at that point. If you would obviously then look through, you're not going to be probably signing anyone from Belper Town. So those are the kind of clubs you can kind of miss out. Might give a little scan to Birmingham, be like, oh yeah, this guy, I'm pretty sure he's pretty well known. Yeah, he was playing in the Championship in League One for Birmingham, I think. So obviously he's went to Lech Poznan. So that's probably around a League One Championship level signing. So if you know the game quite well, if you know the players, I like the game in real life, if you know the players, Todd Cantwell, for example, obviously quite well known, you can sort of pick these players out just by name. Otherwise, just look at the club, have a good look, and then, yeah, just move on. Obviously, you just skip clubs that you just like Blythe aren't going to have anyone for you unless you really like lower down the leagues. Obviously, if you have bad ball knowledge, this is not going to be the method for you. But this is just one way I do it, and it's pretty time consuming. But what I do basically is just get a YouTube playlist on or some music or something, and then basically just sit and trial players. And this usually takes about 3 weeks of just trialing, cancels, getting trials, releasing. As soon as they're not good enough, I just terminate the trial. There's no point. They're not going to get any better. Trials are pretty much just a free look at a player without having to scout them. And then what I also do, the last thing, and this is honestly where you get your best players, is I have a shortlist. So basically everyone you offer a trial to, even if they reject it, they'll go on your shortlist. So what also like Vimal we just offered a trial to. So basically what I do is go through this, and then after August, I basically clear it out. So throughout July, I'll just go offering trials and youth departures and all the other methods that I talked about. This is like the last call, basically. So once everyone, basically anyone who's any good is probably going to find a club within the first month. However, there is always players who slip through the cracks. They either just don't get offers, they're holding out for an offer, they're reputation's too big, they don't want to drop down. So these all go on the shortlist. And then what I'll do is when I get to August, I basically go through and get rid of anyone who signed for a club, and then anyone we've trialed who isn't very good, I get rid of. So that basically leaves us with everyone who's rejected us, which doesn't mean that they're too good for you just because they rejected you. It could just mean that their reputation's too high, but they're actually not that good of a player. So you'll notice there's players on here, Max Alay and Spike Britt. They're probably too good for us now. However, I'll keep them on the shortlist because obviously I've already done this for August and they didn't want to join still, but in September, November, December, etc., so every month basically, or every half a month, so at the start and at the middle of the month, I'll just go through, offer a trial to everyone here. If anyone actually accepts the trial, then that's an easy way to it, and then most of the time they'll still cancel the trial. But what I'll then do is we'll just go through every player. Obviously this will whittle down as the months go on, and then offer just a straight contract to them. Sometimes players won't come on trial, but they'll sign for you anyway, and want star player and this and that. As long as you remove the this and that and just say, yeah, you'll be a star player, they'll still sometimes do a contract with you, especially if you're at a club where you've got the money, you just don't have the reputation. That's another great method. So basically, all of this combines to how I end up having quite good transfer windows. So that's basically, just wanted to give you a bit of a tutorial on that. I didn't realize how long this was going to be, so we are just going to do one game today, and I think I'll actually skip the game that I had planned and we'll just do the second game. But we will do a transfer wrap up as well before I get into the game, which I'll play off camera. So in terms of actual players in the door, here we go. Free transfers. So yeah, so we'll talk about players who've left. There we go. So there's if we go to all transfers for the released. So in terms of players who have left, obviously that's just from the July. So the transfers that we'd already agreed, Fernal Gill, Fofana, Van der Laan, they've all gone. We did sign one player called Zach Jagielka. I don't know if he's Phil's son. He might be. I forget where you find that information on FM26, but he might be Phil's son if anyone knows. Doesn't have any where's it called, relationships. Sometimes he likes South Shields. I feel like he maybe isn't. He could be. It's quite a unique last name. But anyway, we signed him on a free. He's not really good enough right now, so we've loaned him out to Hamilton of the Scottish Championship. I mean, he's a 2.5-star player, but he's got potential. He's only on a deal till the end of the season, so he may be one we sign and just never use and release. He looked better on trial, and then when we signed him, he kind of looked worse. So yeah, a bit of a failure, but he's went out on loan. I think they're covering nearly all his wage, so yeah, it's not a huge one. Mario Legao has finally left the club. So obviously, he went out on loan, scored 3 and 11 in the championship. Not great. And then basically has went to a team in Israel for 1.6 grand. So he joined us on a free, did nothing, left for a little bit of money. No harm, no foul. Leon Ivanovic, who was actually pretty much a regular player for us this season, hasn't really done as well this season. We've sold him to a team in Finland for 7 grand. We have replaced him, don't worry. Rico Robinson, who's been at the club for quite some time now, all the way back in the first season, I think that is, when we were in or is it the second season? Because I think we were in that division for 4 years, 3 years, something like that. He joined us in the 3rd division, made the step up with us, did really well in the promotion season, but then just didn't really cut it in the 2nd division. Went on a couple of loans, went back down to the 3rd division. He's then went to Gateshead of the National League. Yeah, of the National League. So he went there, not on much money but there you go. He's back in England. And then Carell Wilson, who we did only just sign this season, just never really did it for us. 5 goal contributions in 13 isn't terrible, a 6.95, but I just think we could do better. So he's went to Silkeborg for 50 grand. Don't know if he'll play much, to be honest. He's just very physical and really not much anything else. And he just wasn't really doing it for us. So he's left. And then for the players we've signed, we have signed a few. So the first one is Emmanuel Alasi. He's a Swedish winger, 22 years of age, 3 stars, of current ability, 4-star potential. So actually a very good player to have as a Swede. Scored on his debut, love to see it. And he's on a deal of £220 a week till next season, so quite a cheap one. We then signed our left-back replacement for Ivanovic. Lee Hyun is a 22-year-old Korean left-back, 3 stars of current ability, 4-star potential, £420 a week till next season. Joined from Copenhagen's academy, never really played for them. Played 1 game for us, and he's injured for 2 months. So there you go. Not a dream start to his career at the club. Lucas Rosengren is another one, another homegrown player, £220 a week till next season. Striker, 2.5 stars of current ability, 4-star potential. He joins us from Parma, where he did actually play 7 games for them last season, scoring once. So there you go. 5'10", and then Nehemiah Oriola is our Carell Wilson replacement. Quite a similar ilk, to be honest. Fit quite fast, but not really that great. 3 stars of current ability, but big potential. I'm not really sure on him. He's come in. He was at Man United's academy, went to Brighton, went to Hull for 83 grand. Barely played for them in the Championship, and when he did, he wasn't that good. Played twice for us, and he's been honking. He's been so bad. I'm starting to think he might just be better off as a right back or a left back. I just don't know. He might be a better fullback, but he can't really tackle. I don't really know what he is. He's definitely not a striker. I think he's a winger, but he's honestly not that good. I'll probably just try and move him on next season. He's been a bit of a disappointing sign. And we already know Jagielka. Another one is Thyman Rommers. He is a centre mid. We needed another centre mid, and he joins us. 22-year-old Dutch midfielder. 3 stars of current ability, 4.5-star potential. So actually quite a bit of potential on this lad, as you can expect, joining from the Ajax Youth Academy. Not had their dream start, but he's got a good good stats in good key areas, so I would expect him to get better. Obviously, there's been a bit of a gap as well, so there's been players who pretty much everyone's got out of fitness. I don't ever put friendlies in for them. I probably should, but yeah, so we've dropped off a little bit, but there you go. Tobias Hulgaard is in. He's one more for the future on £100 a week, 2.5-star of current ability, 5-star potential. Definitely someone we will get involved next season when he turns 18, I think. And then the last one, literally just signed 2 days before the start of the episode. Philip Dua is a 23-year-old Ghanaian centre-half. 3.5 stars of current ability, 4.5 stars of potential. Already a good Premier Division player. £400 a week till the end of next season. Love to see it. He was of Reading, basically had a few loans, went to Ghana, went to Fleetwood, Chesterfield on loan in League One, did okay for them. Again, went to Bristol Rovers, and so he's like a good League One player, which for us is a very good player in the second division, just about good enough to be a top division side. So this is the kind of what the team's looking like now. Vols is in goal. We've got a Jay, Epia, Dua, Person comes in obviously for Kyung Hoon, who's injured. Kwashi would normally part of Rio, but Rio picked up a knock, so Rommers is in. Rommers is basically the next centre mid after those two. Mundell Smith, Oriola, again, we may just swap him with a Lassie. Honestly, I'm just going to swap them, to be honest. And then Montagno, obviously, still up top with Moncur. Montagno's actually been injured, so he's been out for a little bit. He's actually wanted as well by AIK. Other bits of business we've done. New contracts have been released. New contracts have been offered and accepted to a few players, should I say. Vols has got a new deal, so he's tied down till 2032. So a 2-year deal, and we've got an extension on him, and he's only on £270 a week. That is cheap as chips. Epiet signed a new deal, £350 a week, 2032, 4-star player. We are tying these boys down. They are not going anywhere. Mundell Smith, another one. He signed for 2032, 4 stars, 1.1 grand a week. I think he's our highest earner, but he's our best player, so he deserves it. And Ronnie Moncur, another one who's, again, top goal scorer, 11 and 16, £430 a week till 2032. So our best key players, we've all tied down. We've all got them tied down. Other than that, I think it's probably just maybe Kwashi we should offer a contract to, but again, he's probably not up to the same level as the others to deserve such a long contract. So there you go. So that's us caught up. I'm going to go play the IK Braga game off camera because we've got a top of the table clash against Landskrona to play. So yeah, I thought I was going to do 2 games, but I didn't realise how long this intro section was going to go on for. So we'll just do the 1 game. We'll come back for Landskrona. We've come to our 1 game of the episode against Landskrona. It is a top of the table clash. As you can see, We currently are 4 points ahead of them in top position. Obviously, top two get promoted automatically, so we are in a really good place for promotion. We're well ahead of Falkenbergs in third. As you can see, I think there's no doubt we are going to be promoted, especially once you look at our form. If you look at this, besides the very strange 5-2 loss to Kalmar, we have been winning every game. I can't remember what it was. Was it Trelleborg's away, I think we played, and then Stockholm? So yes, it's from here. So we beat Albright 2-1, Monker, Mundell Smith. Ostersund 3-0 win, Monker, Mundell Smith. That's going to be a bit of a trend. A 1-1 away draw to Umeå with Elliot Eld getting a late equaliser. Varnamo 2-0 win, Mundell Smith. 2-1 win over Hanning, Monker, and then Alase debut goal. 2 goals, one for Ramos, his first goal for the club. And then IK Braga, we just beat them 6-2. 4 goals from Mundell Smith, 1 from Alesi, and 1 from Jaden Koshy. So we are in a really good place, scoring lots of goals. And this is the team we're going to put out for our top of the table clash. Like I say, 4 points clear as it stands. Potential today to go 7 points clear at the top. We've got Vols in goal, a back four of Cederholm, Apia, Dewar, and Ajay. Dewar making his first start in front of you lot, his first game in front of you lot. Reason being is Kyung Hyun is obviously still injured, and then Vucinic Persson, our second choice left back, the homegrown Swede, is suspended for this game. Morante, we've put on the transfer list. He's actually been all right when he's played once he come back from his long-term injury, but he's just on a lot of money and he's 33. I don't really know what I was thinking with this signing, especially on a 2-year deal. So we've offered him out. If we don't get any offers, he can just be a backup centre-back, I guess. And then in midfield, we've got Kwashi and Kiermatan, our regular Rio back from injury. And then the attack, we've got Mundell Smith, top goal scorer. I mean, what a player he is. Alase on the left. He honestly is impressing me. So Oriola's just totally dropped out. I'm honestly just going to move him on next season. I know he's barely had a chance, but he's just rubbish. Like, he's just so bad. He can't do anything. And then the top two of Montagno and Monker. Montagno is getting offer after offer. He is a very wanted man. So he, in my opinion, must have decent potential. And he's a regular goal scorer. Look at him. Absolute goal machine. So we definitely want to keep him down. He's only on a breakthrough prospect as well. But physically, he's so good. Hopefully, once we start improving some of the facilities around the club, he can kick on. I feel like there's a sneeze coming, but it hasn't quite came just yet. I'm just hanging on. Nope, seems to not want to come. It feels like it's right on the verge. We haven't actually seen Rosengren play yet. I don't think he's had a game, so we might try and get him on, but at some point. But yeah, everyone else is obviously our homegrown players, except for Rommers, the backup centre mid, because we've actually got enough Swedes in the starting 11 now. We can actually afford to put a homegrown player on the bench. It's really a rare thing to see. We usually is maxed out with homegrown players in the starting 11 as we can be, but at the minute we do have enough in the squad. And if we had to, we could also put Eldon at centre back. He's more than good enough to start for us. Has been playing, has started for the vast majority of the season, to be honest with you, alongside EPS. So there's no real reason to break up that sort of partnership. Obviously, I think this is where the Football Manager real life immersion does break slightly, because we've just signed a centre back to replace Eld. But Eld's only on loan, so I guess it does kind of make sense that you'd want to get your own man in. But Dewar definitely seems like a really good signing. And he's a little bit younger, so him and Pierre should form a good partnership for quite a few years to come, provided we don't sign anyone better. We did actually have a deal for a goalkeeper to come in, but I cancelled the deal just as it was about to go through. The goalkeeper was better than Vols, but only like a little bit better. So Vols is currently 3.5 stars. He was 3.5 stars. But looking at it, there was like he was definitely a better player. I don't really know where the coach report comes from. I would say it was more like 3.5 versus 3. Like if Vols was a 3, he'd be a 3.5. Like he was a bit better than him, but he had no more potential. He was 28 years old. He was going to cost us £950 a week, and he was only a bit better than Vols. So I thought, we've already got Vols tied down on a 2-year deal. He's already got 5-star potential. He's a Barcelona. He's a La Masia product. He's going to have bigger potential. And he's only like 21, 22 Vols, whereas this guy was 28. He was going to cost us a lot more. So I just thought, you know what? I'm actually going to do... Normally, I would sign the player. I would just get whoever is better and put them in, regardless of potential. But Vols has been with us on a bit of a journey, and he does seem to be one of those players where he's kind of matching where we are. He's not progressing too quickly. He's kind of progressing as we're progressing. And I honestly think he's already a decent Premier Division goalkeeper. It's a brilliant goal from Monca. I honestly think we just keep him and we just keep him in that position and then basically just try and get our facilities and coaching better so that he can actually improve and be our goalkeeper long term. One thing we do have to start asking is how long we stay at this club because at the minute we are still making progress. And I always said we'd leave either when we were just totally dominant in the country, which is obviously going to take a few more years, or once we've won the league or something in the country, which again probably quite a bit of way off. Obviously, we are close to going up to the first division, but that's going to be, I think, probably our biggest gap is going from like just a newly promoted side to like actually challenging to win the league. I think that's going to take probably like 4 or 5 seasons in and of itself. I mean, I'm kind of enjoying it here. That's the other thing is I'm actually really enjoying this. There's been other times on Journeyman where I've been at a club and I'm like, all right, this isn't the best. I'm just trying to work my way through the teams lower down to go up to a better side. But in this case, I've actually really enjoyed the journey of going from the fourth division. Obviously, this goes all the way back to the decision we made in the very first episode because we had a deal to join a Serie C side and we rejected it because we wanted to start lower down. We thought it was more realistic. And whilst I think maybe the signings haven't always been realistic, I guess if you put it with the qualification that I'm an English manager, I know the English levels, I've got more pull, I've got networks, connections in the English game. I suppose it makes a bit more sense. We are 2-0 up here, by the way. Moncur with a goal and assist, Quashy with the other goal. Yeah, I guess it just makes sense. So I'm actually really enjoying it, and I do think we will get promoted next year, and I think that will increase the enjoyment for me because at this point then we'll be a top division side playing against like teams I'm like familiar with, and then also we hopefully will get enough like more money to start actually really improving the club. Now obviously this isn't a one club save, we're not going to win the Champions League with this lot, I don't think so anyway, but I do think we're at a point where we are still progressing. Our manager's getting better and better as well. Like I think if we left this club, we wouldn't necessarily find a better club or a club with maybe a club with more reputation, a full-time club. I don't think we'd be hard pressed to find a full-time club, but I don't think we'd find a club in as good of a position with the scalability to get better than this club. Obviously, the money's fine. There's no debt. And we're right on the verge of probably going professional. I imagine if we get promoted to the top division, it's going to be a forced professional status, which I've been kind of waiting for. Is obviously we did ask for it in the last winter window to try and go professional, but we just didn't have enough cash, which is fair enough. But I do think we're at the point now where if we get promoted again, we'll go to the top division. I would imagine that is an automatic, here you go, you're professional kind of moment. So there's obviously that to consider as well. Like we're right on the cusp of going professional. There's lots of money. The playing squad's really good. It's got a lot of scalability to get better as well. And also just enjoyability factor. I'm really enjoying it managing here. It has been a challenge at the start, and it was definitely a challenge for a good long time. I thought that equaled the game up there, but it's been ruled offside, thankfully. 2-1 here. We probably need to make a couple of changes actually because we're not really seeing the best of ourselves at the minute. We're going to bring Rosengren on for his debut for Montagno. I mean, look at this. We've been the miles better side. We should be running away with this. But yeah, it's a little bit of an odd one. So I just think whilst it is a journeyman, as if we're still making progress, we're still getting better, etc., etc. The other thing is, it's not like we're fending off other offers left, right, and centre. We've had no job offers, even this far into the save, because we're at a lower league club. We still don't have the best reputation. We're just not getting, very close. We're just not getting job offers. So if a job offer was to come in now, I think it would have to be a good one. It would have to be something I'd really want to go to. And it would probably have to be a significant step up. Now, obviously, anything full-time would be obviously a step up. But I wouldn't even consider that a factor because I'm pretty sure we're going to get promoted this year. Or I'm feeling very confident about promotion. And I'm almost not certain, but I'd be pretty surprised if we didn't go professional once we went up to the top division, because that's normally how it goes. You go to the top division. Oh, it's a debut goal for Rosengren. It's a tap-in, but he had to get there. Lovely stuff, 3-1. We'll make a couple more subs while I'm happen. So yeah, I guess let me know what you think in terms of when should we move on, if we should move on at all. I'm thinking we'll probably start to get some offers once we're like a good Premier Division side. So I think if we can get this club into Europe, I definitely want to play at least a season in Europe, whether that's Conference League, Europa League, whatever. I definitely want to see us in Europe. I would love to see us be champions of Sweden as well. I think we would leave if we won the league. I think if we won the Swedish Prem, we'd maybe leave the season after. So obviously we'd play like a second season to try and win it again. I think that would be the call to say, okay, now we resign and move on because we're too good. Like there's no more upward trajectory. At this point, we've still got potential to get better. We can still improve as a manager. The club can massively improve. So there's a lot of room for both of us to still be growing, which is what the whole purpose of a journeyman is. And the other thing as well is that sometimes I think I've spent too little time at previous clubs, whereas this has definitely not been the case here. We've joined this club and we are still at the first club of the journeyman. Now, obviously, there's nothing to say on a journeyman. We have to have loads of clubs. We don't have to have 5 or 6 clubs or 6 or 7 clubs. We can just, it's 3, 2, 4, 3, 4, 2. Was that only their second goal? For some reason, I thought that was their third. Well, we should still be winning this game. But there is a late corner. What's happening here then? What's happening here then? It's 4-3. What are we doing? Why are we throwing this away? We've been massively dominant. What are we doing? Nah, what is happening? This feels weird. This feels like I've just been coursing along this game, and then all of a sudden we're going to lose now. I mean, that's dodgy, rolling it out to the centre mid, but there you go. Unless we're going to score another. Or maybe we are. Tidstrand through on goal. Oh, he's at the post. He's at the post as Tidstrand. That would have been... I mean, we shouldn't lose this anyway, but maybe I should have signed that other goalkeeper. No, come on. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, it hit the crossbar. That would have been mad. Wouldn't have been the end of the world if we drew. We still would have been 4 points clear. But we do win the game, go 7 points clear, and this just amplifies what I'm saying. We're a very good side. I think we're going up. I think we're going to go up as champions as well because we are just in so much better this season. We've just really hit a new level. We really have. Like the signings are just absolutely cooking at the minute. So yeah, we're in a great place. I don't really know when I'm going to come back because I think we're doing so well. I think we're just kind of running away with it. So honestly, what I'll probably do is come back when I think we can secure promotion. So there's like 12 league games left. So we might play 6 games, 8 games, whatever it needs to be. Obviously, if we start to drop off in results, we'll come back a bit earlier. But I honestly think we're just going to cruise. So unless something interesting happens, probably hopefully going to, fingers crossed, come back for the promotion run, because there's no point coming back in 4 games time and then just winning another 2 games. You know, like that does nothing for you as a viewer. You already know we're coursing. And this isn't our first season in the league as well. So I think we'll probably, when do we play these again? We must have already played these once. We have. So we've already played these twice and beat them twice. So we've beat the second best team in the league twice. I don't think we're going to drop points in too many more games. So, like I said, we may just come back for promotion, or unless something interesting happens, we'll come back there. But yeah, so that's where we're at. I think we're in a great place. I think we are going to get promoted. I think we're going to go up as champions. I mean, we're 11 points clear, so I don't see us not getting promoted. But yeah, like I say, we'll come back when there's a chance of promotion. I think that'll be a good shout. Otherwise, we'll come back when we can maybe secure the title as well. So yeah, those are the 2 options. But unless something more interesting happens out of, off pitch, whatever, then we'll come back for that. But yeah, as it stands, we're in a really good place. Let me know what you think about when we should be moving on from this club. Do you want me to just sit here? Not sit here. Do you want me to stay here for quite a bit longer? See just how big we can get the club before we move on. I think that's kind of where my thinking is at the minute. Let's just see how far we can go with Bergen Assets before we move on, because, like I say, I've enjoyed it, and I feel like I'm quite attached to it as well. One thing I did forget to mention, actually, we have signed a new contract. We've signed a new contract till the end of next season, and we're doing this all without qualifications as well. We're up to local. So the boys in and around Sweden know of us now. So we could get a big Sweden offer. You never know. We could get a big club in Sweden offer as a deal as well. So that's the other thing. But I don't think I'd do that. I don't think I'd like to sign for another team in the league. But cross that bridge if we come to it. But at the minute, I'm happy where I am. But let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you all for more of the Euro Journeyman very soon.